Hello Capricorn, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? As always, please remember that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Capricorn, we're going to start with looking at your recent past, current energy, and immediate future with oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. So let's first start with looking at this recent past. What have you guys been dealing with? Recent past energy for Capricorn, please. You are good enough with your commitment is being tested and show the world the real you. This past energy has been about really stepping into your authenticity and into your truth, even if it ruffles feathers, even if it pushes certain people away or challenges certain people's perception or expectations of you. And I feel like this has been a really challenging but also rewarding period for you, even if you haven't seen the rewards yet, because I feel like it's been very freeing. This kind of feels like breaking yourself out of the tendency or the habit of playing small, keeping yourself small, trying to fit into places where you're being held back or where you're not being valued or seen for the value that you do bring to the table. And I think that I do feel a lot of pushback in this energy, but the pushback isn't the truth. It's all of the reasons that you've kept yourself small for so long, reasons such as, well, I don't think I'm good enough, or, I don't know if I'm intelligent enough for that, or attractive enough, or lovable enough, or whatever the case might be. And I feel like this is really about kind of breaking out of, like I said, the barriers that I feel have been holding you back for a while. So this is, like I said, like equally as exciting and freeing as I feel like it has been challenging. And I don't necessarily know like what this is in regard to, but I do think that as we move forward with this reading, it'll become a little bit more clear. All right, current energy here for you, Capricorn. Take time to breathe out. The answers you need are coming. And then on the bottom, you have a new start is coming. So I feel that, breaking old patterns and old cycles is something that is very confusing and overwhelming in the moment and makes a lot of sense in hindsight. When we start stepping into our authenticity, stepping into our truth, standing up for our worth, it does typically come with a lot of loss. And that loss can feel really heavy and make us start to second guess ourselves and say, well, should I just have accepted, or should I, am I asking for too much, or, am I expecting too much? And the answer to that question is you are never asking for too much when you're being asked to be loved, seen, heard, and valued. And it's important to know that. But so much of the time when we're in the, the process of breaking patterns, whether it's people pleasing or, like I said, kind of playing at small things like that, those beliefs are going to be very tested, meaning that a lot of times we go through this period of really second guessing ourselves, or, if we lose friendships or we lose a job in the process, we go, what if nothing better comes along? What if that was as good as it got and I ruined it because I expected more? That right there, when you're in the middle of that, where you're feeling lost and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not quite sure what's next, you are in the active manifestation process, because so much of manifesting is clearing out the old to make space for the new. But in that in-between phase is where Well, your commitment is being tested. Commitment to your truth, commitment to your worth, commitment to the belief that you are supported and guided by a spiritual connection of your own understanding. So if you're in that period right now of feeling really lost, not really sure what's next, it doesn't mean that you're not on the right path. It means that you're still on the journey of discovering that path, and it will come. The answers will come. The new beginning will come. The opportunities will come. Just trust the process here, which obviously I know is way easier said than done. But what does Capricorn need to know moving forward? Nothing is yet set in stone with hold your vision. I love this message because this is the reminder that, sorry, I have dog hair all over my face. This is the reminder that you are the co-creator of your reality. And I think a lot of people tend to turn to tarot because it's like, well, is this going to work out? Or am I going to get here? Or can I have the things that I want? You know, are these things possible for me? Tarot doesn't tell you your future. It tells you the trajectory of the energy that you're currently embodying. And when we are willing to embody the energy of all of the things I just talked about, knowing our worth, knowing we're deserving of more, believing, and taking steps in the belief that we're supported and guided by the universe or a spiritual connection of our own understanding, your future is yours to co-create. And that is why it's paired, this nothing is yet set in stone is paired with hold your vision. Hold on to the vision that the things that you deserve and desire are possible for you. Even if sometimes it feels like you're taking steps back. A lot of times loss, or when we're losing, certain opportunities or things of that nature, it can feel as if we're moving backwards. When in reality, the more we break ourselves free from what doesn't align with us, the more we make space for really, really beautiful aligned things to find us. And that is what this process feels like. But so much of that process is refusing to settle. Refusing to accept less, refusing to go back to old patterns, committing to the beginnings that deep in your soul you are so capable of. So your future is yours to co-create here. I do feel like you are headed toward new beginnings. I feel like there are really wonderful things waiting for you. Oh, what just popped out? Emotions are running high. Yeah. The stress and the overwhelm and the second guessing, all of these things are going to continue to be there. Okay. One thing that I've learned is that fear never goes away. But your faith can get stronger. And that is what so much of creating the life that we desire is about, is it's about testing our faith in the middle of those times where we have every single reason to doubt it. So, and when I talk about faith, I don't mean in a certain, dogma or religion. I'm talking about faith in your abilities, faith in your deservingness, in your, lovableness, all of the things that you are. Lovable, worthy, deserving. Overall energy, overall theme of this reading for Capricorn. I'm excited for you, Capricorn. I do feel like you're in this process, or in this place in the process of feeling a little bit lost, not sure what's next. That's normal and that's natural. And sometimes the most transformative places are the places where we realize that we don't really need to know what's next or what's going to happen. We just need to keep showing up. And that's, I feel like, a lot of what this is about, though I know I'm speaking to Capricorns and I don't expect you to do anything but keep showing up. So, all right, let's see. You have boundaries. Yes. And this is what I kind of felt from this past energy too, is it kind of feels like, I don't know if like finding your voice is the right word or the right phrase, or it's like finding maybe, finally believing your own truth. And then you have past life here. I feel like you, and I think that that's the hard part, right? Something they don't tell you about growth is that it does come with a lot of grief, not necessarily even just grief of things that are lost, but grief of different versions of you and expectations that you had for, your life and certain relationships and things of that nature that no longer align because of how much you've grown. And this really does feel like growing out of certain things and making space for new things. And I think that, a lot of times that growth can be really painful because we start to go, well, what what if I wasted all my time, or, all of these things, ended up not aligning? What if I make the wrong decisions? You are exactly where you're meant to be, and every single decision that you've made has led you here. Certain things can align with us at one point in our life and not align with us later. And as we start to, grow, evolve, step into our truth, align with our worth more, yeah, certain things are going to fall away, but it doesn't mean we're losing any opportunity. We're gaining actually the opportunity to experience more love, more abundance, more freedom, more peace, more success. So I feel like this is actually a really beautiful time in your life, even though it is, I don't want to glorify anything painful, okay? Because painful situations are, sometimes just painful, but I certainly have learned that even sometimes the hardest experiences and hardest periods end up leading to some of the best things, as long as we're willing to truly tap into the belief that everything is happening for our highest good. All right, let's dive deeper into this. I want details. What's going on here, Capricorn? Let's look at this past energy. Your commitment is being tested with you are good enough. It just feels like you're in that process of making space. And the process of making space is the hardest. The Hangman in reverse. You were holding on to things for a really long time. Yeah, Temperance. You were holding on to, paths, to people, to things for a really long time. And I feel like you held on to these things with a lot of patience, a lot of, willingness to kind of bear a lot here. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. But yeah, okay. The 10 of Pentacles in reverse is this energy of undervalued. And I think that, you were consistently finding yourself in this position, in this space of being undervalued, of not being compensated properly or treated in alignment with your worth and, shown up for in the way that you were showing up. And it feels like you held on and you invested and you tried and you did try quite literally everything that you could. I'm not saying you were perfect, okay? We all make mistakes, but just because there were ways in which you were imperfect doesn't make you any less deserving. And I think that's really important for somebody to hear. But this is definitely the energy of somebody who, did everything they could to try to make certain things work. And eventually you hit your limit. You got to a place where you were like, enough is enough. This doesn't align with me. I wish it did. I love this thing. I love this person. I love this job. I love this path. I care about it, but it is not serving my highest good anymore. And this willingness to set boundaries, this willingness to create distance, I think is where you don't realize how much of a good decision that was for you. Because I feel like this was a long period of accepting less than what you deserve out of hopes of that it would change, but still being in this position of, being undervalued, all the things. And eventually your soul got tired, and that's going to happen in any space. And I think honestly, what I've kind of experienced happens is the universe kind of, it's almost like it triggers you into expansion, where you finally get to this place where enough is enough. And even kind of the littlest things start to set you off, because you're just like, this experience, this friendship or this job or whatever, it's not working. It's not aligning. And eventually, you're kind of triggered into making, these decisions to, like I said, cut ties, set boundaries, whatever it is. But then comes the energy in which you're in, where you're in that in-between space, where you've let go of the old, you haven't quite found the new, and maybe you're in a period of second guessing, experiencing a lot of fear that nothing better is going to come along, that you're not going to get what it is that you need and deserve. And that is a natural part of the process, but I do feel as if the universe as a spirit is trying to let you know that you're headed in the right direction. So let's see what we've got for you, Capricorn. The Hermit. Right now is a time to go inward. Not to search outward, but to go inward. That's where you're going to find your alignment. The Two of Wands here. There's a lot of overthinking in this energy. A lot of overthinking and a lot of overanalyzing and a lot of... none of that is helping you. Okay, somebody needs to know that. None of that is helping you. The overthinking, overanalyzing, playing things over in your head. What could I have done better? How could I have done more? I think that, or what's going to happen next? Where am I going from here? You're creating a lot of anxiety for yourself by living so much in your head. And oh boy, trust me, can I relate to that? Taking a step back, and I feel like that is why you have take time to breathe out, and creating a little bit more space for stillness, allowing yourself to not have it all figured out right now. And I know that isn't what you want to hear, okay? And I know that that probably brings a little bit of frustration into your energy, but I want to have all the answers. I need to know what happens next. I have bills to pay. I have, this, I have that. I understand that. But the more that you're trying to force solutions and force answers and force outcomes, the more that you're going to find yourself getting more lost. And here's the thing. If you start operating from a place of fear, you are going to repeat old patterns. You're going to settle. You're going to accept less. You're going to find yourself back in the exact same spaces that you have just worked so hard to remove yourself from. So I feel like right now, and I know, okay, right now is not a time to make any big decisions or to rush anything. I think that's a better way of saying that. Right now is not a time to rush anything, but it is a time to really try to reconnect or connect with that part of you that knows that things are working out for your highest good. That part of you that believes you're supported and guided. That part of you that can lean into faith a little bit, because right now the everything is muddy. Everything feels really scary and overwhelming, but that's only just because your ego can't predict what's next, and your ego craves that control. And when it can't find the control, what does it do? It operates from fear. It pushes you into making decisions from a place of fear. But the more we make decisions from fear, the more we make decisions that are out of alignment. So allowing yourself to create some space for stillness right now is really important. You have every right to feel the way that you do, okay? I certainly don't want to downplay that, but you do have the answers you need are coming. And I think that sometimes the best thing we can do is do nothing. Now, that doesn't mean do nothing in the sense of sit on your couch, binge watch TV, distract. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about when I'm talking about doing nothing. When I talk about doing nothing, I mean not forcing. Allowing yourself to reflect, allowing yourself to search for solutions, but understanding that everything that doesn't work, every closed door, every time that you try to enter into a space and you get rejected, that is the universe at work. That's the universe saying, nope, not this way, not that way. This isn't quite the way. You're going to find it though. And that's where I feel like you're needing to lean on that faith a little bit right now. Every closed door is redirection. Every rejection is redirection. And it's only taking you to the things that are going to align with you more than anything else ever has. You're moving forward more than you think. 8 of Wands. That is forward movement. You're moving forward more than you think. Sometimes stagnancy and those periods where we feel like we're not moving or we feel very stuck, sometimes we are making progress. And a lot of times what that progress is not going back to old patterns, not allowing ourselves to repeat old situations or to find ourselves in the places that, like I said, we've worked so hard to break out of. So you're not as stagnant as you think. You're making more progress than you think. And I think this period that you're in right now is so vitally important for the creation of your future. This is about not allowing yourself to, sorry, my table's bothering me, not allowing yourself to operate from a place of fear, but trying your hardest to move as if you are fully guided, fully supported, and everything is happening exactly in divine timing, because it is. But your belief in that and your embodiment of that truth is going to be so important right now. All right. What do you need to know moving forward? You have hold your vision with nothing is yet set in stone. You're breaking out of like pretty heavy past life cycles, okay, that have been a part of your life, of your DNA, of your ancestry for a long time. So give yourself a little bit of grace here. You're doing a lot of spiritual work. So, even if you don't have it all figured out, I think that, maybe I'm dealing with a collective that's putting a lot of pressure on themselves right now. Allow yourself to be exactly where your feet are, because you're so much further along than you think you are. All right, what does Capricorn need to know moving forward? Hold your vision with nothing is yet set in stone. Whoa. I like when the cards turn all the way around or hit the table, when they feel intentional. This feels like a specific card. Usually when, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. There's the devil energy, which is Capricorn energy. Page of Pentacles, Six of Swords. Oh, I love this Queen of Wands energy. And the Five of Wands. Okay. This is a really important message for somebody. Okay, a really important message. You are going to get to where you're trying to go if you are willing to face the resistance that comes with getting there. Meaning, you are not on a journey that is absent of obstacles and challenges and setbacks, okay? Let's be real, nobody is. But specifically, right now, when talking about whatever this is talking about, a new path, a new opportunity, whatever, you are not on a journey absent of those things. And how you operate in the middle of those obstacles and those challenges and those setbacks will determine everything. I have come to understand that manifestation isn't something that happens overnight. It's something that happens when you are in the thick of it. When I say when you're in the middle of the fire, when you're burning, when you have no idea how things are going to work out, where you're going to go, how things are going to get to where you want to go, get to where you want to be, and you decide in that moment, there's a solution, there's a way through, and I'm going to get there. Your ability to be so, one of my favorite words, to handle things with equanimity, to be so balanced and so certain within, even when your whole world around you is uncertain. Be so certain within, everything is happening to lead me to my highest good. Now, it's really hard to believe that when you've been through a lot of struggle, okay? But I've come to understand that this universe it's not biased, okay? It reflects back to you the beliefs that you carry. It reflects back to you the beliefs that you hold and the beliefs that you embody. If you are willing in those moments where there are obstacles, challenges, and setbacks, because like I said, you are not on a journey that's absent of those. If you are willing to, in those moments, say, I am supported, I am guided, and things are going to work out for me in the best way possible, and to embody that belief, you are going to get there, okay? But that is where mastering the art of detachment is so incredibly important, where you are so, you know in your soul, I am going to be led to the things that I deserve and desire, that you're so detached on how you get there, what it looks like, who it comes from, the timeline, everything, because you are so willing to say, the universe is supporting me and guiding me. If you want to create the life that you desire, which you are fully capable of, this is a reading for somebody who is absolutely 100% fully capable of that. Letting go of your need to control every little detail is going to be the key. And this, trust me, I know how hard it is. I am a control freak. I get it. But you are being led to new opportunities. This is a very beautiful energy, okay? But it comes, I don't want to say at a cost, because that makes it sound like you have things to be afraid of. You don't, but it's important to be aware that there are going to be times and moments and periods where you are going to, you're going to look around you, you're going to go, it does not look like anything is working out for me. It doesn't look like I'm being led to the things that I deserve and desire. And in that moment, saying, might not look like it, but I know it is, and I'm going to show up as if it is. That right there, that is manifestation. That is co-creation, where you're saying, I have done my part, and now the universe is going to do its part, and I'm going to get to where I'm trying to go. Nothing is yet set in stone in your future. This is not a you can or can't have this kind of situation. This is a you can have the things that you desire. That success is imminent if you are willing to show up as if that's the case. Now, again, detachment, right? So it might not look this way or look that way or be with that person or whatever. Every rejection is redirection. Every closed door is leading you to the right one. Trusting that flow is the key. Stay in your power, stand up for what you deserve, stand up for what you're worth, speak your truth, all of those things. Every single thing that looks you in the eye and says, that doesn't work for me. I need you to have, I need you to play small, or I need you to have less boundaries or less expectations. That is your sign that isn't meant for you. Every single thing that you are willing to stand, every single moment you're willing to stand in your power, you are getting closer to the things you deserve and desire. And you're being led to a really beautiful new beginning here, truly. But you have to be willing to be so certain that you are worthy, deserving, capable, and supported in creating it in order to create it. I think that that's the biggest message for somebody in this reading. All right, we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So looking at that tangible advice a little closer, and then I've got an advice card here, my postcards from Spirit deck, advice card to pull for you from your spiritual team at the very end. Any information on that extended reading is in the description box or caption below. Thank you so much, Capricorn, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Capricorn.